Hey everyone, welcome to Alpha Insights. I'm Jordan. Quick note before we dive in. If a question pops into your head while you're listening, drop it over at stockalpha.ai.
And I'm Brittany. We've got a lot on our plates this weekend. AI trust issues, ad headaches, a startup controversy. So let's unpack what that means heading into the long weekend.
First things first, markets were closed today, it's Saturday, and the last trading session was Friday, March 20th. So everything we're talking about is setting the tone as markets reopen on Monday.
Right. The headline theme is trust, and that's stuff that can hit reputations and costs, not just headlines.
Exactly. Take the publishing story. A major house pulled a horror novel amid concerns it might have been written by AI. That's not just literary drama. It raises real questions about provenance, attribution, and the standards publishers will impose going forward. And then there's the social media side. Reporting showed a bunch of AI-generated profiles, mostly women, that thousands of people treated as real. That amplifies misinformation risk and puts pressure on platforms to do more moderation.
I mean, when you look at the data on user-generated content, moderation costs can balloon fast. Platforms that host that content suddenly face higher operating expenses and more regulatory heat.
Advertisers are feeling that unease too. Sources say early ChatGPT ad campaigns were sold in a pretty low-tech way with limited performance metrics. OpenAI plans to expand ad sales next month, but advertisers want better measurement before they pour in bigger budgets.
Yeah, that's a good point. Without credible attribution and third-party verification, ad growth could be bumpier than some expect. Analysts note that ad budgets follow reliable metrics, not just hype.
And then there's the startup trouble. An anonymous allegation that a compliance vendor misled customers, plus a separate lawsuit alleging misuse of funds and intellectual property issues tied to a former co-founder now at a big tech design team.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by this one. Legal and IP disputes like that can be slow burns, but they force enterprise buyers to tighten vendor due diligence. That can slow procurement and hit smaller suppliers the hardest.
Short reaction?
Interesting.
Right.
Okay, quick consumer note before we shift. Apple has a deal on the AirPods Pro 3. They're $50 off. And REI's Member Days sale runs through Monday, March 23rd. Small positives in an otherwise cautious headline set.
Also worth flagging, NVIDIA held a big developer and investor-facing conference, but it didn't fully sway Wall Street. There's still strong AI demand, sure, but momentum is showing more caution than runaway optimism. So what do we watch next? Regulators are the big needle movers here. Any comments from the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Justice, or European regulators on generative AI or platform liability could change sentiment quickly.
And on the commercial side, the OpenAI ad rollout is a must-see. If they deliver robust analytics or third-party verification, that addresses one core advertiser complaint. If they don't, ad revenue projections could get recalibrated.
Platform responses matter too. If big platforms update policies or add provenance and labeling tools for AI-generated content, that reduces long-term risk. If they punt, moderation costs and reputational issues could stick around.
We should also keep an eye on litigation developments. Any filings or settlements tied to the startup allegations. Those can be messy and sometimes contagious in terms of vendor scrutiny.
So, putting it together, the sentiment as of Friday skewed cautious. This cluster of trust, measurement, and legal issues suggests increased costs for moderation and compliance and more skepticism from advertisers until the data improves.
Right. Analysts note that these are the kinds of structural questions that affect revenue visibility. How companies respond next week will tell us whether this is a blip or the start of a broader repricing of AI-related risk.
Quick checklist for listeners heading into Monday. Watch for regulator statements, any OpenAI ad measurement updates, platform policy moves, and legal filings around those startup claims.
And remember, this is informational. We're not advising anyone to buy or sell anything. What we can do is point out the signals that might change how people think about risk in the tech sector.
Summing up together,
AI trust and provenance are front and center. That raises moderation and compliance costs.
advertiser skepticism around AI ad measurement is real. Better analytics would calm nerves.
And legal or vendor disputes could slow deals and push buyers to demand more diligence.
Got questions? We'd love to hear from you. Head over to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us anything and we'll answer live. And while you're there, check out more market content and our Q&A feature.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back Monday with fresh coverage after the market opens.